Welcome to the NASCAR Chat with Hamm. I'm going to do a little Daytona 2020 preview for you today. We're going to go over a lot of things happening in the off season, and this will be my first chat of the 2020 season. So welcome back, everybody. If you don't know me, my name is David Hamm. I'm a 25-year NASCAR engine builder. I retired in 2019, and I was a 7-year jackman, owner of Hammscapes, landscaping equipment and repair and restorations. Also radio personality on DHammiam radio 92.9 and 550. And we're going to talk about a little bit of the NASCAR Cup Series, Xfinity, and Truck Series. A lot of news going on in this off season, and we've got a bunch of announcements to make. I'm going to do a little bit of Q&A, some questions that we had on Facebook on our NASCAR Country page, so check us out on Facebook. I'm going to talk about some of the crew chief and the pit crew changes that have been going on, and also talk about the new short track package that I'm sure most of you have heard about that by now. It'll be the short tracks and the road courses. So subscribe and hit that bell notification if you like this video. And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at DHammiam, and on Facebook, or listen to me live on the radio at WAME Real Country 92.9. And also check out the Facebook page there. And my podcast is Hamm the Engine Man. And also, as I mentioned, our NASCAR Country page on Facebook and also on Twitter. All right, so some of the Cup news going on. Let's see, the first practice for the 2020 season is February the 7th. So that's less than a month away for the first practice. And we have 26 days until the Busch Clash, 32 days until the Daytona 500. So it is coming up very quickly. It's coming up on us like Christmas came up. It just came and went faster than any Christmas that I've ever remembered. Sorry, I'm a little bit out of, my wife Tracy's been sick for the past week or so, and I've been around a lot of people that have been sick. So hopefully I'm not getting that, but it kind of starts in the lungs and all that and spreads around. So I took me some of that elderberry syrup, so I'm hoping that that's going to knock it out. I took that the past 2 mornings. But hey, we're talking about the Busch Clash, and I want to show you. I know some of you have probably seen this already, but I'm going to show it to the rest of you. So this was a belt buckle that I got from the 1994 Busch Clash, and I'm glad they're bringing that back. Glad they're bringing back that sponsor. So it's 1994. It's the sixth. That was the 16th annual. And there it is, right there. So how cool is that? Trying to get it to where the lights hit it just right. I don't have all my lights turned on in front of me, but I got the ones behind me on. And actually, I didn't even put a light up. I almost forgot to do that. But I think the lighting's pretty decent in here today. Actually, it's about 70 degrees outside, but it's been raining. Crazy weather here in North Carolina. It's like, I don't know, bipolar Mother Nature or something. All right, so Team Penske has announced changes to their driver crew chief lineups for this season in the NASCAR Cup Series. So Paul Wolfe will move up to the number 22, over to the 22 car of Joey Logano. Todd Gordon will be with Ryan Blaney in the number 12. And Jeremy Bullins will work with Brad Keselowski and the number 2 team. So I had some Facebook questions on our, let's see, I think this is on Rachel Rodman's page actually, but while you're there on Facebook, check out our NASCAR Country page because we like to post a lot of stuff about NASCAR, obviously. So this question was from Sarah Baker, and she asked me, my first question for David Hamm is, what do you think of the crew chief and crew switch up for Penske Cup teams? So my answer to this was, I love this. I think it's going to be best for Ryan, but also add some more aggressiveness for Joey. Brad is very smart and may actually put him in a little more in control. So Roger is a very smart businessman, and I'm thinking this will be a way, this will work out great for that team. It will be a fresh start for the pit crews, also psychologically, so it will be a win-win for all involved. Terry Quinn commented, says, a question, an idea, why didn't they change spotters as well? So my answer to that was, the spotters are more personal and know the particulars of their driver. That's a relationship that gets better with time. The spotters talk to the drivers more than anyone during the race. They learn the moods and know exactly what and when to say to their driver and that gets better with time. And then Terry Quinn says, thanks. That's kind of along the lines of what I was thinking, but just wanted to make sure. Thanks again. And then Val Lacrosse says, I agree 100%. Roger Penske is very smart and successful. Everything he touches turns to gold. That's for sure. Thanks for explaining the importance of the spotters. And then Terry says, just wish we could get Roger to buy NASCAR. So, yeah, he bought the Indy Series. I wonder if NASCAR is next on his list. But, you know, talking about that, I remember Kyle Petty back in the day when I was his jack man. And I traveled with him in 95, but I became the jack man in 96. And I remember him telling our head engine builder, Keith Simmons, he was like, shut up. I don't want to hear anything else the rest of the race. And that was like one of those uh-oh moments, like nobody else said anything. I think we may have been at Rockingham. It was either Rockingham or Charlotte. I know he didn't like Bristol, Darlington, and he struggled a lot at Charlotte. I do know that because I was there, obviously. We would always pit down at the very end of pit road, which was a scary place in Charlotte because the cars come in off the track and they could come right in there and slam against the pit wall. So you had to be on your toes. All right, so another question is, Nancy Davidson said, I heard on the morning drive on the Sirius XM channel that the pit crews were going with the crew chiefs. Is that right? And I said, yes, that is correct. I think that will be a motivation for them, like a fresh start. I've been through that before myself. We actually switched pit crews with, we had Robbie Gordon, we had Joe Nemechek on our Team Savco, and Robbie Gordon wasn't exactly working out. You know, he was getting he kind of come in with the big head like he was going to take over, and he was going to know how to balance these cars out right off the table. That's what he thought. And so he wasn't, there was times where he got in wrecks like a Bristol, and he just went and changed clothes and we were like, okay, we got the car ready, but he was like, no, I'm ready to go. So anyway, we ended up putting him on. We put a lot of time into him, you know, including our first trip to, Japan in 96. And then whenever he was acting like that, we said, okay, we're just going to shift him over to the B team. And then we moved Nemechek to our A team. And so anyway, we switched our whole pit crew chief and all that, just switched over to the whole different team. Got new fire suits and all that stuff. Went from the Coors team to the Bell South team. All right, so other news here in NASCAR, we got Jerry Baxter is going to be Bubba Wallace's new crew chief on the 43 car. Clint Boyer and Eric Almirola have swapped crew chiefs also. So John Clausemeyer, that's a full mouth name right there, last name. He will now be the crew chief for Boyer on the 14 car, and Mike Boogerwich, we just call him Booger, will be the crew chief for the number 10 of Almirola. Ryan Sparks, who served as the race engineer for the number 3 team, will move to Go Fast Racing in 2020 for Corey LaJoie, crew chief. NASCAR is expected to unveil a new short track aero package in 2020. The main changes being to the spoiler changing from 8 inches to 2 3/4 inches, and the front splitter's overhang will now measure a 1/4 inch down from 2 inches, with approximately a 2-inch wings reduced from 10.5 inches. So there's some major changes right there for those cars. And so look at that. It's going from an 8-inch spoiler, the rear spoiler. I'm sure y'all probably seen pictures of that, and then it's down to like 2.5 inches now, when it was, it was a full 8 inches. And yeah, so that's going to be a whole lot different looking. So alterations to the radiator pan, removing its vertical fencing in an effort to reduce front end downforce. Dimensions of the pan remain the same. The changes will be in effect for 9 of the 24 layouts, 3 road courses, and 6 ovals that the NASCAR Cup Series will visit in 2020. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below or to the side. And if you're watching it live tonight on the premiere. All right, so it'll be interesting if the drivers get beat up as much, riding around in those cars as they were in the past several years. The 6 oval tracks that will use the new rules this season are Bristol, and these are short tracks, of course. Well, Dover International Speedway is a 1 mile track. Bristol, of course, is a 5.533 to be exact. Martinsville Speedway is 0.526. New Hampshire is 1.058. And then Phoenix Raceway is a 1 mile track. Richmond's 3/4 mile. And then all 3 road courses on the Cup Series schedule will have the new rules in place, which include the Charlotte Roval, which is fairly new, 2-3 years, I believe. And that's that Roval is 2.28 miles. Sonoma Raceway, which is 2.52, and then Watkins Glen International, which is 2.45 miles. So that'll make for exciting race. So with the senior vice president of their development, John Probst, said that the aerodynamic changes were met with a broad base of support in meetings that were initially held with stakeholders spanning the drivers, the teams, engineers, managers, Goodyear representatives, manufacturers, and broadcast partners during NASCAR's Champions Week in Nashville, Tennessee, in last December in 2019. So it sounds like they're okay with this. Most of the team's input from what it looks like. So Probst said that certainly from our standpoint, we feel like this is a step in the right direction to create more side-by-side exciting moments during the race. Probst said, obviously the proof will be in the pudding, but this is certainly something that we have run before that has had good results. All right, hopefully I don't sneeze because I'm actually feeling like I'm going to sneeze. So as I mentioned on last chat, that the Miller, we all know the Miller Lite car, and it's Miller Genuine Draft and all that. It probably won't be back with the 2 cars. So Miller first sponsored Bobby Allison back in 1983. So it's been a 36-year partnership. So we'll see how that pans out. All right. So this is something that's kind of sad news for North Wilkesboro. If you're not adding insult to injury, some of the kids broke in and vandalized the North Wilkesboro track. They basically went up into the press box and threw a chair through the window. They recorded it and put it on TikTok, and so the video was removed from the site, and the case is being investigated. I didn't do stuff like that when I was a kid. I mean, that's just, to me, that's ridiculousness. These kids need their butts beat. ISM Raceway has mutually agreed to terminate its track naming rights deal. And I'm kind of glad about this because I would much rather it be known as Phoenix International Raceway. With a move that will be announced today or yesterday. All right, the track will go back to being known as Phoenix International Raceway. A lot less confusing. You hear we're going to ISM, and then it's like, okay, which track is ISM? Which I pretty much remember it being Phoenix by this point, but. All right, Ross Chastain to pilot the 77 Advent Health Chevy for the Daytona 500 in a joint venture with Chip Ganassi Racing and Spire Motorsports. According to Adam Stern, Advent Health expanded partnership with CGR includes 4 primary races. Kyle Larson will pilot the number 42 Advent Health Chevy in the Busch Clash and the fall Kansas race. Ross Chastain will pilot the number 77 Advent Health Chevy for Chip Ganassi Racing, CGR, and Spire at the Daytona 500 and the Coca-Cola 600. So the third, this is another article, third Next Gen 7 car test set for January the 15th and the 16th at Miami. And the driver was just announced, I believe, yesterday. It's going to be Eric Jones. He will be driving the car for that test. All right, so in the 2020 NASCAR Cup Series season, we'll see Chevrolet in the new Camaro ZL1 1LE, 2 years after the Camaro's debut and 1 year before the debut of the Gen 7 car. You all know how the Chevrolet has not been running good at all for the past couple years. So in the Camaro's first 2 seasons, they won 11 races compared to Ford's 29 race wins and Toyota's 32. I'm fine with that second one, but yeah, a comparison of 11 races to, say roughly 30. Let's just say how much would that be? That would be a third. That's not a third. Good Lord. Math in my head right quick. Maybe 10% of the races they won. Okay, so I'm not a math genius. All right, the nose of the new Camaro will be flatter, allowing the Chevrolet teams to push each other better, where they could not previously as the nose was pointed. Chad Canals, crew chief for the Hendrick Motorsports, driver William Byron, told SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Morning Drive that they are more prepared and better educated as when the Camaro came out. It was the same time that NASCAR changed the way they were inspecting cars and using the Hawkeye laser system. You got to see those laser systems that they use. They're really cool, and a lot of the teams use them too. To make sure their cars are right, of course, and they're not cheating, and they can get just that close with the stuff too. All right, Canal said the older car, when it was designed, wasn't really built for that. We had a little bit more leadway. We could have manipulated it, let's just say, a little better. But if to get some performance out of it, they could have adjusted. With the restrictions NASCAR put on us and with the surface conformance all the way around the car, we didn't have the ability. With those rules, we weren't able to get on top of it. He feels the new car will come out stronger, and it sounds like an excuse. Good excuse, checking out. All right, Roger Penske recently told on SiriusXM NASCAR that he likes what he sees ahead regarding changes in the years ahead. Things like entitlement sponsors and schedule changes. Also, the Gen 7 car that is to be on the track in 2021, of course, and then the engine changes will follow that. A push to attract the car manufacturers and an industry-wide focus on cutting costs. So I guess the car owners, obviously, they're okay with cutting costs. The employees may not be exactly, because some of them may be out of a job, but that's another story. Well, this is kind of cool right here. This has to do with Verizon coming into the racetracks, and I think they should have done this a long time ago. But according to Adam Stern, NASCAR has been in advanced discussions with Verizon about a deal that could include tracks getting 5G wireless technology. Now, if they're able to spread it around to more people at the track, I think that would be very good for NASCAR, because if you think about it, when you take your kids, or if you go to a NASCAR race and you're really connected on social media and you're actually sitting there advertising for the race and for the track, so you're sending out pictures and videos and things like that, it's good for the sport, it's good for the tracks, and it's good for the fans. Think about it. It's like free advertisement. So talk center around sponsorship by Verizon in exchange for NASCAR buying Verizon Tech to upgrade tracks and facilities, or capabilities. Well, it'd be facilities too. So in some of the Truck Series news, the Front Row Motorsports has started a Gander Outdoors RV Truck Series team through an alliance with DGR Crossley, and they have named Todd Gilliland as this full-time driver for the 2020 season. So that's very cool. David and Michelle's son, Todd. John Leonard, a former NASCAR Cup Series engineer, will be Todd's crew chief, and Colin Presley will be spotter. Truck Series and Xfinity Series news, both. Congratulations to Ben Rhodes and Jeb Burton on their recent marriages. Don't do it. All right, NASCAR officials introduced rule changes today for pit stops, both for personnel and procedures. In the select Xfinity Series and Gander RV and Outdoor Truck Series events this season. So that's going to be the rule changes for the pit stops. And here's what they are. Officials indicate the changes are designed to enhance pit strategy and to streamline the personnel performing pit stops at those specified races. The rules also place limits on the types of service that teams can perform in each trip to pit road. So the rules will be in place for 4 Xfinity Series races. So, that's not too bad. But May the 30th, Mid-Ohio, let's see, both events at Iowa Speedway, June and August. In August, for the Road America Gander Trucks teams will operate within these rules 3 events in the season. One at June 12th at Iowa, August at Worldwide Technology Raceway, a Gateway, okay? They always have to put all the names in, so. All right, and then the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. None of the races are companion events with the NASCAR Cup Series. Maybe they're paving a way for the future of Cup Series too. That's kind of the way these things work out. You just never know. All right, so congratulations to my buddy and Tom's buddy. And let's see, who all was here for my party? Rachel, Chad Hyder was here. and we had a little party here. But congratulations to him. This is a tweet that his daughter sent out, Tabitha. Surrounded by family and friends, my dad was inducted into the Alabama Auto Racing Pioneers Hall of Fame today. So that would have been a few days ago. Congratulations, Daddy. I love you, and I'm so proud of you. All right, so that's very cool. Congratulations, buddy. Our buddy Hut. I have to get him back over here. I have to get everybody over here. All of my friends, everybody watching in. Yep, Paul and just everybody. It's too many to name out. Sorry, I'd have a list and I would read them all. But if I missed anybody, y'all come on down next time I have my party. So this is something that's going on tomorrow, Wednesday, the January 15th. And I got the message from Billy Buck, who owns the radio station. And since I'm a media partner, I could actually go to this. I'm not sure if I will, but NASCAR Hall of Fame announces Dale Earnhardt Jr. as a guest curator for Glory Road exhibit down at the NASCAR Hall of Fame. So the fourth iteration of the exhibit will feature personally selected 18 Premium Series championship cars. So I guess Dale Jr. was part of it. Well, I'll just read the whole thing. Since opening in 2010, the NASCAR Hall of Fame's signature exhibit, Glory Road, which is, when you walk in the NASCAR Hall of Fame, you look over to the left there, and there's like a track, and it's got the different banking from all the different tracks laid out in a row. And then they have all these cars in there too. So I'm sure you see video and pictures. Actually, I've got a video right here on my YouTube channel. If you look up DHammiam and punch in NASCAR Hall of Fame, and it should pop up. And it shows you all the cars in there. And some of the other stuff at the NASCAR Hall of Fame. So their Glory Road is the signature exhibit, has served as a prominent focal point for guests and members alike. Every 3 years, the exhibit receives a makeover with a new theme and 18 new race cars. For the fourth iteration of Glory Road, the NASCAR Hall of Fame will partner with Dale Earnhardt Jr. as its first ever guest curator to debut Dale Jr. Glory Road Champions on I was reading ahead. It said on Saturday, January 11th, 2020, featuring 18 Premier Championship cars personally selected by Earnhardt. But on January 15th, which is what I said, tomorrow, the NASCAR Hall of Fame will host a special media-only event at Glory Road, providing an inside look at the curation process in collaboration with the NASCAR Hall curatorial team. There's actually a curatorial team. All right, so we are excited to present some of the NASCAR's most iconic Premium Series championship cars from the eyes of the biggest fans and ambassadors, Dale Earnhardt Jr. and said Winston Kelley, Executive Director of NASCAR Hall of Fame, who I talked to last time I was down there. We actually went down with Roush Yates Engines and checked out the Robert Yates Racing exhibit down there. It had his toolbox and one of our old cars, and very cool exhibit there. And Winston was there with us when we were going there. Oh, we got our rings. I think that was our Brickyard 400 rings the same day. So I have always been inspired by Dale Jr.'s sincere interest and appreciation for the history of the great sport, Winston Kelley said. Having Dale guest curate one of the most recognizable exhibits following his days as a full-time driver has always been one of my personal goals. With so much from what to choose, selecting a theme and narrowing that theme to 18 cars from a list of 75 to 100 available cars is a very tough task. I know I can speak for my fellow NASCAR fans in thanking Dale for once again giving back to the sport he so dearly loves. So over the past 10 years, the NASCAR Hall of Fame Glory Road has featured some of the most recognizable race cars and drivers throughout the history of NASCAR. For the fourth generation of the exhibit, the NASCAR Hall of Fame and Earnhardt worked together to create a collection unlike any other, celebrating the champions and championship moments of the sport. Dale Jr. Glory Road Champions will showcase a lineup of cars that the fans will instantly recognize on their significance in some of the most memorable races and championship seasons in NASCAR. Glory Road displays the cars in a race formation on a curved track, representing the different levels of banking found where NASCAR's National Series competes, along with some of NASCAR's historic tracks. So having that chance to help choose the cars, this is what Earnhardt said, for the NASCAR Hall of Fame newest installment of Glory Road was an opportunity that I couldn't pass up, said Earnhardt. Everyone knows how much I enjoy learning about the history of our sport and sharing that history with people. And with this, I'm able to play a small role in what we share with the fans who visit the NASCAR Hall of Fame. I knew when Winston Kelly and his team first met with me that I was able to pick up some of the picket cars for the exhibit. I wanted it to focus on the champions of the sport. I felt like that was a no-brainer. Sorry, this is a lot to read, especially when I'm feeling just a little rough. He continued, I picked cars for this exhibit for many different reasons, but definitely wanted to represent a broad history of the sport as a whole. So we could also see the progression of the cars. It's really good when they're all together and you can see that it's all changed in the technology from where we started to where we are today. I'll tell you what, they have changed so much over the years, the cars, the engines, all that stuff. Like I said, when I started the show, I spent 25 years in it, so I saw a lot of changes over those 25 years. A lot of changes in the cars, went from different generations of cars and different engines to working for Chevrolets and then switching over to the Fords for my last 16 years in NASCAR. All right, so thank y'all so much for tuning in. Subscribe and hit that bell notification and like this video if you like it. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter, DHammiam on Facebook, or listen to me on the radio live on Facebook at WAME Radio, Real Country 92.9. And you can listen to the Monday Country Hamm Jam. Check out my podcast, Hamm the Engine Man, which this show right here will be on podcast. And if you're listening on podcast, thank you very much. If y'all have any questions you want to ask anything at all, put it in the comments below, and I will get back to you. I'll answer back. I know Chad Hatter and Paul Rodriguez and Terry Quinn, those are usually the three that go back and comment on my videos here, and I appreciate that. So be sure to check out our NASCAR Country page on Facebook and also on Twitter. So everybody, thanks y'all so much for tuning in, and y'all have a great rest of the week. And we'll see y'all probably back in 2 weeks, probably on a Monday in 2 weeks from now, which is going to be, let's see here, the 27th of January, just after my birthday on the 21st. All right, so thank y'all so much, and I'll see you next time. Good night.